We back with another Change My Mind. This time, America is not racist.
It is not.
What is good? Welcome back to the Flawdcast. I am your boy Flawdzilla, and I'm here with my lovely co-host Mozilla.
What up, y'all?
This is the last normal place on the internet. We are glad that you could be here with us today. All right, okay, and you will be too. I guarantee it, or your money back.
Yep, all of it.
Did I mess something up there? I was supposed to say, and you will be too.
Without further ado.
Now, without further ado, and you will be too by the end of this video. Now, without further ado, that's what I'll do. You will be too.
It'll be a surprise next time.
By the time this is done, without further ado. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, please like the video. Please comment for the algorithm. Subscribe if you really like the video. And hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever we drop, even though YouTube is still probably not going to notify you, but at least there's a chance.
And Flawd drops his booty.
Yeah. But if you join the Discord, you can get notifications of every time I'm live on there, because Discord doesn't fail with the notification. So if you join the Zillaville Discord, you will be able to keep up with whenever I'm live, literally immediately. So go join that. The link's in the description. But yeah, appreciate you guys. This video is Change My Mind, Steven Crowder. America's not racist. We thought this would be entertaining. We wanted to do another Change My Mind, so
yes,
you know,
spaghetti.
You guys asked for it, so we are doing it. Now, without further ado, I said low, but I meant now. I almost said meow. Without further ado, let's get into this thing, man.
Bird.
Okay. See? Didn't that feel cool?
Yeah.
This could be on the media and put out there just to make it seem like the cops are racist.
Right.
Because I don't believe I think it's people that are racist, not a system. You can't generalize people. Not everyone's the same.
So he's not about changing.
And it's time for the latest Change My Mind. In the previous installment, we had an interaction with a man who began yelling racist over our conversation.
Yes, he called me a racist.
He just walked up to you and called you a racist?
Yes, he called me a racist.
Predictable victim, gonna predictable victim. If you missed that video, click the card above or the link in the description to watch. But let's compare that interaction with the one that I experienced with this strapping young lad, Zach.
Looks like King Vader.
I like the dude. Now, let me ask you this before we start on anything else. That's a very tight do, like the fade. Now, this is one thing I will say in bridging the cult. White people get their haircut like maybe every 5-6 weeks. But you can't make a haircut like that work unless you do it. How often do you have to do it?
So I get every other Friday. My dad schedules it like after I'm done getting my haircut.
Oh my God!
The next Friday after the next, 6:30. Always scheduled. My dad likes to keep everything scheduled. I usually
Is he military man?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's ex-military now, but I get the bald fade. That way, when it grows back, at least it still looks faded throughout. And then I'm just trying to grow it, higher out.
Okay.
Smart.
Yeah, because I get sometimes people call it the Jew fro, but I get it grows out.
Yeah.
You can see a little bit of a wave.
Bro.
This is after putting a hat on it to mat it down. As it
Whose
grows out,
phone
it
is this?
curls.
Yeah.
So I look like one of those those little old time kids with the curls, licking a lollipop in a sailor outfit, like
Pennywise.
Really
yes,
just gonna let this
exactly.
happen right now?
So I just asked because it's very nice. Now, did you do it last Friday? Oh, sorry. Do you mind? Can you put that on silent if we do?
Oh, my one.
No problem. Go ahead. Here, I'll take away my microphone.
It actually went. My dad's probably gonna be mad, but hey, this is worth it.
All right. So it sounds like you might be familiar with the Change My Mind.
Yes, and he just sat there that whole time. Who doesn't know what the ringer sounds like? Who doesn't know what the ringer sounds like?
He said, "Oh shit."
He didn't know it was his phone. Who doesn't know what the ringer sounds like?
Yeah.
That was annoying as hell, bro.
That bothered me. Like, maybe I just tap the button. That's all you gotta do, bro.
Maybe it could be though. Like, I don't know what my ringer sounds like on my phone right now. I never changed it. I never heard it. I immediately put my ringer down because I don't like phones ringing because I don't answer them anyway.
If he just said his dad's gonna be mad that he didn't answer, I'm pretty sure he knows his ringer. His dad probably calls him all the time.
Okay, you're assuming things. You don't know. You don't know. You have no idea how it works.
Well, him and his dad gets haircut every other Friday at
But you don't know how new that phone is. You don't know how new the phone is. You don't know nothing about it. You don't know if the system messed up and they had to reboot and he had to redo the ringer. Like things like that actually happen in life. So you're not taking things into consideration that could possibly have happened. Anyway, change my mind. Change my mind about that.
Change my mind.
Change my mind
Man
about
don't
that
know
now.
his ringtone.
Specializing a position. Today we did talk about COVID, but right now we are talking particularly because of the riots right now and because of all this going on, demands that are being laid out in the public and Black Lives Matter in the public eye. I do not believe that today in 2020 the United States is a racist country. Certainly not systemically. And if you disagree, I'm more than willing to have you change my mind.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I feel like racism really comes down to people's ignorance, not really understanding or knowing
Why
someone
did we
else's
even-
different culture and background. And, I mean, most people I've met in Texas, like, I've seen more racist people when I used to live in the Northeast, you know?
I did in New York. I saw so many racists. Like, you'd see cab drivers yelling
I mean,
the N-word.
I don't know, like, if you're still, like, close with Joe Rogan. Like, I've seen some, like, fight. Well, not, like, fight, but, like, you know.
Him and black guys?
No. Just, like, something that he says, like, honest conflict is better than dishonest harmony. And I feel like people are just going to be people that I'd rather you be authentic with yourself. If you don't like me because of my race, just
let me know.
To be truthful. Don't lie, because, like, some people, you know, like,
I
be
agree.
nice. And then when you truly get to know them, you know. Yeah.
I mean, I think, too, like, we were just talking about the hair thing. And I was just talking with a man, his name was Kendall, and he was a young black man. And he said that he felt like there were these preconceived notions, these expectations of what it is to be a black man, he said. And that was hard to live up to. And he said that, you know, we're all athletic. And he said, you know, he wasn't really
I think
that way.
everyone
He
has
seemed
that.
more like of a book smart kind of guy.
Every race.
And I think that's a good example of something where I don't think that I have that as a white person.
Oh, no.
And so we don't need to be colorblind. I go, man, well, that sounds pretty hard. People expect you to.
I don't believe that. So he's saying that he doesn't have. He's saying that he doesn't have things to live up to as
A white man.
White man?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. What do you mean? White men have to live up to a lot of different things.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like you can't even, bro. Everyone has to live up to something. You, maybe not societal, but the society. I think the expectations that like parents put on you, people put on you, like there's expectations for everybody.
So
in this world.
if he was talking about like a black man
Has to be athletic.
and keeping it, and this is what the black guy said.
Yeah.
And like being athletic, keeping his hair cut, all that shit.
Is a white person not
Like
held up to them same things?
that's what he's saying.
I thought he was
Right?
saying that he doesn't have to.
Yeah, he's saying that he doesn't have
Yeah.
to be
I
athletic
don't
and doesn't
understand
have
that.
to.
Maybe not athletic, but you still have to. You have to make yourself look right. You have to look good. You have to keep yourself kept up. You have to do a lot of things just to keep up with how society tells you that you should be, or else you're going to be considered a bum or this or that, all types of things. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how a black person feeling like they have to keep up with expectations is any crazier than a woman having to keep herself in shape, or else she,
Yeah.
well, maybe not these days, since you know you're it's
That
morbidly obese is the most beautiful thing in the world.
Because they identify as skinny.
Yeah, true. But I don't I don't see how a white person doesn't have that. Maybe I'm tripping though. Maybe
No.
I've never been white, so maybe I'm assuming something that isn't true. But I feel like
Well-
there's a lot of things that white people have to live up to too. And I can't name them off the top of the head, but it's the same.
That's what
It's
I'm
the
trying to
same
think of.
things. I feel like I can't name expectations that I have to keep up with as a black man.
That's
though.
what I was gonna say.
Like he said that it has to be athletic. I'm not athletic, and I never felt like I had to. I feel like, okay, people think black people are, but that's a
Yeah.
stereotype. I don't have to live up to a stereotype.
And that's the thing. If, like, I've never been a white male, but, like, I was trying to think of
Women do too.
if, like, what stereotypical thing for white people there were, like, for black people. But,
Like-
if it's like, it could be the same thing.
See, but maybe he means race specified, specifically race. But again, to me, it's still that, like, the being athletic thing, that's like stereotypes. So
Yes.
you have to keep up with a stereotype, but like you don't have to keep up with a stereotype.
And what would be
why do you feel pressure to keep up with the stereotype? I don't understand how that works. I'm not athletic. I'm not whatever, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not
well, it was probably a person trying to change his mind, right? And was probably like, America is racist. I have to live up to these standards as a black man, and maybe it was that. I don't know. I'm assuming.
That's weird though, but maybe I misunderstood Steven. We'll go back a second and see if I'm tripping.
Of a book smart kind of guy, and I think that's a good example of something he said, and that was hard to live up to. And he said that he felt like there were these preconceived notions, these expectations of what it is to be a black man, he said, and that was hard to live up to. And he said that, we're all athletic, and he said, he wasn't really that way. He was seemed more like of a book smart kind of guy. And I think
okay, so again, that is a stereotype.
Yes.
So a white person, in my head, white people have to be like when you see them on TV. If you're going by that type of thing, if we're going by like old stereotypes, white people have to like wear business suits and be CEOs and be the man.
Yep, father.
Like, they have to
children.
be the white man, the man that they tell you that they say that are oppressing. You have to be the oppressor, right? If you had to keep up with expectations of a white man, right?
Ow. Yep.
That's so I don't really understand how the difference is. We all have it in different ways.
And wear shorts in the wintertime.
Yeah, and wear shorts in the wintertime, and you know what I'm saying? Like there's just I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But I like to.
Hell yeah.
I overthink things. Okay, let's go.
That's a good example of something where I don't think that I have that as a white person. And so we don't need to be colorblind. And I go, man, well, that sounds pretty hard. People expect you to act a certain way because you're black. And he said, yeah. And you don't know that. And I said, okay.
Like to tell it, hey, yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
Right, exactly. That kind of thing.
Does that
He's a very
matter,
nice,
though?
articulate man. And so I think there are differences, and learning about that is a good, it means like I can be ignorant. For example, like you get your haircut. I don't know any white guy gets his haircut every other week. I just learned something.
Yeah, I think we should take pride.
I do. Every white guy doesn't have his hair like Steven Crowder. White guys get shape ups, lineups all the time. Like, just look at a YouTube video. Look at the professor.
Yeah.
He's athletic. Well, he's all these things that black people got to keep up with, right? Gets his haircut every week. He's super athletic. Like, I don't know, man. I'm confused.
And getting to having that experience to be able to learn from others. I feel like a person should always want to be expand their mind, and like there's nothing wrong with that. You want to know for yourself, not because you were trying to be condescending or demeaning in any way.
Right. Can I ask you this? Your dad was you said former military man, so a strict guy. What is his view right now on the riots and the Black Lives Matter and law enforcement?
We do not speak that much about this issue. My brother, he protests. He doesn't believe in the rioting and looting. I don't think any of our family members do, but I don't think America's systemically racist. But it's like if you were to look at like the amount of black men per 1,000 and white men per 1,000, because I believe the Caucasian race 3 times triples the black people, correct? Or is that
black,
is that wrong?
Depending on the number, make up between 10 and 15% of the United States population. Yeah.
But still, like the same amount of blacks are being killed as whites, even though there are more white people than black people.
That's something we've talked about quite, and actually, it's significantly less. But you can't just base it on percentages. So
yeah, because I don't want to be a number myself,
Right. But even more, there are numbers that I think that are more relevant in that scenario. So, for example, last year there were 9 unarmed black men shot by police officers.
Exactly. See, this is where you got to go. You got to go to
numbers,
unarmed, compliance, like all these different things that come into
consideration.
Yes, you got to take into consideration with the situation with numbers like that. You know what I'm saying? Our cops shooting unarmed, hundreds of unarmed black men. You know what I'm saying? No, usually it's something happening. They're not complying. It's all these different things.
Suicide by cop.
Imagine if you just comply.
Yeah.
Then if the same amount of black people were dying and they're all complying, then we have an issue.
Absolutely.
But and again, you look at these statistics And you can skew them any way you want. You could come to any conclusion as long as you can just come to a conclusion. Like, okay, these numbers could mean this and da-da-da. Like, you could, the correlation doesn't equal causation, but you could do that with any kind of conversation and just do that. And make it, skew it to whatever you want it to be. So if you ain't in those situations, every single one of them when they happen, you could easily be manipulated by the numbers. You got to be open-minded.
Absolutely.
Okay. White guys that were 19. Now, if you were to look at those numbers and just say, well, that's not nearly as much more as there are white people in the country, well, you also have to take into account interactions with officers based on violent crimes. And I'm sure this isn't a surprise necessarily to you, but the number was, do you know how much more likely a black male, specifically a black male under the age of 30, is to commit homicide than a white male?
I do not.
It's over 35 times more likely.
Wow.
50% of all homicides
Crazy.
are committed by black males. Now, a lot of that is gang violence. As you know, that
Do you hear that?
That's crazy.
So we look at the number. They focus on the number, like Black Lives Matter and Democrats. They focus on these numbers of there's so much more white people in this country. How are black people getting killed even close to as many as white people when there's so many more white people, right? So they make it seem as if more black people are being killed because like it's there shouldn't be as many black people getting killed when there's so many white people that cops can come into contact with. But then if there's so many more white people in this country, 3 times as many white people as there are black people, why do black people make up 50% of the homicides? Why do black people commit 50% of the homicides in America when there's not enough of us to
even
that shouldn't be even close? But it's all gang violence and black on black crime.
Yep, because the victims.
So what is the real issue in this country? Clearly, the black on black crime needs to be handled. But we always just say nope. It's systemic. Like, okay, so we're just gonna keep on passing that buck, right? So we're never going to come out of this fucking trap that we're in unless the government gives into demands or like gives us a leg up or something. Like nah, man, you gotta fight for what the fuck you know what I'm saying? Not fight, but like you gotta come together and do better as a whole demographic. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, if you're gonna separate yourself from other races and other whatever, then now it's on you to build yourself up. Yes, build that group up now. And you're not doing that. You're just yelling, complaining, and then committing more crimes and doing more shit. Like how is that gonna benefit you? You know what I'm saying? And for all the unity, black on black crime is still the highest amount of fucking murder in this country. It just doesn't make sense.
Wild.
Happens in neighborhoods, and they don't have that so much even in poor white neighborhoods. They don't really have this.
What's the I heard the statistic on how likely a black man is to kill another black man. How much more likely it is for a black man to kill another black man than for a white man to kill a black man. And those stats are crazy. I forget what they are. Yeah.
The same gang on gang violence, so it's not necessarily just black on white crime or white on black crime. And they also commit 60% of armed robberies.
And I mean, for all we know, it's like I feel like there's always like secrets have secrets, and there's always agendas. Like for all we know, all this could be on the media and put out there just to make it seem like the cops are racist.
Right.
Because I don't believe I think it's people that are racist, not a system. You can't generalize people. Not everyone's the same.
And I think
exactly. That's
yes,
all you have to
think. We need the reform that comes from that place of understanding. For example, police reform. Defund the police? No. Here is my proposed solution, though, at least some steps that I hope we could find some common ground. At least strip some of the power away from police unions that protect bad police officers. Yep. And I think we need better training for police officers, specifically in unarmed combat. So, for example, right now, you go in, you do a couple of physical things, and you don't necessarily have to stay up on your tests. And so think about, you get into a violent conflict with a man, your only option is to go to your tool belt.
Yeah,
so
because like my dad
can't fight.
Yeah, my dad was speaking about it. Like a lot of ex-military become cops. You're trained to kill in the military, not to suppress. To protect and serve. I feel like this is somewhat long gone. It's muddled. I don't think they're necessarily protecting themselves before they're protecting citizens.
Right, but in some cases they are.
Yeah.
You know, in some cases...
like I said, I'm not trying to generalize. I believe they have the best interests, you know?
Yeah. Like, do you see the Atlanta shooting? You saw what happened there? And did you see the full tape?
Like about the guy, he beat up officers, threw him on the ground?
Two of them. He spiked one off. So here's a good question, because he spiked one officer on his head, right? Now the officer reached, he grabbed his wrist.
Yeah.
That's something if ever
anyone... COVID.
If anyone has ever done a month in jiu-jitsu or judo or some kind of grappling art, right away they would learn how to control that. You would learn more in a month than most cops do in their entire life.
Jeff about this. Yeah, so the training, I feel like, because like I saw a video, it's like it takes more time to become a barber than it does to become an officer with a gun. Yeah. You know? I just think they should be taught to lower, lethal force.
If they,
because if you're here to protect us, don't, don't kill us, like just like, even if it hurts us, like to detain us. I mean, we are, our biggest enemy, I believe.
I think everybody, especially when you have a rap. Did you know about the rap sheet from Rayshard Brooks?
No.
Well, see, that's something. No, so you probably had to look for the full tape. And this is something I'm curious about. Listen, I'm asking you because you are a black man, because that went out, and now people are saying it's another public execution and a lynching. CNN, and I've watched them for hours and hours and hours.
Crazy words.
They have never run the full tape. They've only run the long shot, grainy footage where he shot.
Wow.
They've never run the full tape. This guy didn't just have a rap sheet. This guy committed theft. This guy committed cruelty to children and false imprisonment. And he had multiple. In other words, this was a guy who was going to go away for likely a long time on these arrests. So it was presented as though he was drunk. He pulled into a parking space in Wendy's, right, to try and sleep it off. No, this is a guy who likely wasn't just drunk, but he was so inebriated he fell asleep in the drive-through line, failed a sobriety test, and when they tried to simply handcuff him, beat the hell out of two officers, stole a gun.
Responsible for their own doing.
And they didn't even shoot him. They only shot him when he turned back and aimed their taser at him. Now I understand that's a non-lethal weapon, but why do cops have it? To incapacitate.
For real.
So if you
put a fucking taser at me, I'm shooting.
Congratulations, you just won the deadly weapon lottery.
Yeah.
And so to me, when I watched that,
I wasn't even mad after watching it.
Really?
I mean,
I wish it didn't happen, but I don't think the guy's a racist.
A life was taken. I don't agree with that.
Sure.
I don't understand.
No, I was gonna say.
I feel like I have Christian principles myself.
Like if people really just sat down and listened or watched, like he said, watched the whole video of things, and not just. And I know we say it all the time, but like, why can't I don't understand? Like, this dude is a smart ass dude. He gets it. He understands, and he clearly understands both sides.
Yep.
But he's just favors the correct side. And it's like, if you can,
who favors the correct side?
He does. Like, he agrees. He knows. He doesn't think America's racist.
He agrees, but he already came in with the wrong. He came in talking about black people are dying at the same rate as white people. So I think he's just.
Well, he's
still coming too.
Yeah, he listened. He learned.
Yeah, at least he's having an open mind and having the conversation. So I'm not gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you said he's favoring the side.
Well,
if anything, he's just open minded. He's willing to have the conversation, which matters the most.
Yeah, but why? I just don't understand why people can't just do that. Like, it baffles me or just find information before just going and saying it's lynching and
because of mob
racism
mentality and virtue signaling. It's just so much easier to assume that it is automatically one of these giant fake boogeyman issues rather than a human to human interaction that just turned out the way it turned out. Like, people don't give any leeway for like human error and individual human like,
unless it was their people or somebody they know, like their like their mother or their father or
like
close circle,
like black on black crime. Like, they just shrug that off, like, because they're black and no, that's something else. Like, well, don't worry about that. That's something else. But no, it's not. It's a big reason that
it's a serious issue.
It's holding us back just like everything else. There's so much behavior that is our own behavior that we just overlook. But then you hold a cop like who's doing his job and having to like it's it's crazy. What I was gonna say when I paused it was not that. What I was gonna say was, these videos, usually when they come out, before you even watch the video these days, the caption will say, "White cop kills black man," or like that's basically what it'll always say, the race of the cops.
Yes.
In the person, rather than like just
cop kills
the situation. Man. Yeah. Like they never say the situation. It's they play with your brain before you even watch the video, and then you watch the video and your bias is like towards you're looking for what the caption says.
Yes. And then
so then you see it. You'll connect the dots in the way that they already told you to connect the dots in the caption. So you go back up and you look for a white cop, a white racist cop, trying to look for racism, basically. A white racist cop executing an innocent black man. That's always what you're looking for in the video, and they call it that regardless. Like, the dude could swing on the cop multiple times, and they'll be like, but he was unarmed. Like, no matter what it is, it's like, but he was, that's a cop. He needs to learn how to not be lethal. Like it's just, it's always no accountability for the person who is dealing with the cop. You know what I'm saying? No accountability for the actual person, only for the cop. Like, everyone's not human.
In the media, it's just like ridiculous. When they do pit bull bites, when they try to when they report dog bites.
They say dog bites when it's not a pit bull, but when it's a pit bull, they say pit bull bit. Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Same exact thing.
Was taken.
Right.
I don't agree with that.
Sure.
I mean, I feel like
I
wasn't even mad after watching it.
Really?
I mean,
I wish it didn't happen, but I don't think the guy's a racist.
Like, a life was taken.
Right.
I don't agree with that.
Sure.
I mean, I feel like I have Christian principles myself, and I don't believe in taking a life. But I mean, at that point in the world that we live in, you had to be asking for that, right? Because people get shot for much less.
Right. Exactly. White people get shot for much less.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I put it this way: is it unfortunate? Sure. Do I think that officer had any malice? No, and I certainly don't see any evidence right now that he did that because he was a racist.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been around people, white people that are nicer and more friendly to me than black people, right?
Yeah.
And then even in school, people say, "Why do you talk or act or dress so white?" I'm like, what's wrong with speaking with articulation and somewhat intellect? Why be stupid and appeal to the masses?
That was something that Kendall brought up too. I want to ask you: is that something that you feel is expected of you, to speak and act a certain way from the black community?
I feel like it's more of what people want. People want you to put on a show every day. I mean, if I spoke like that, they wouldn't take me seriously, but they get a good laugh out of it. Like, if I said, "Hey, yo, what's up, man? How you doing, blood?" It's like, what do you get out of that? Like, why speaking the slang when you know what I mean? Like, when I'm speaking now, the English lexicon,
Right. Yeah, so I don't know.
All right, with that type, when it comes to speaking, I don't agree with that. Because I think it's just expression, and the English language, as long as you're using the words correctly, you know what I'm saying? Like, not even correctly, you can, as long as you're making the understanding known, you know what I'm saying? As long as you're not just completely being ridiculous with the words you're saying, I think it's fine. You can say whatever you want. That's why people who come in the comments and tell me, "Oh, you didn't have to swear when you say that. You didn't have to talk like that. Like, you could be a little bit more articulate." Like, that's people trying to control the way I speak. That if there's freedom of speech, why are you worried about I'm saying? Why are you worried about the way I choose to present my thoughts?
And like your environment, who you've been around, who you like. I've been with you for 13 years.
That's why you talk like me.
That I don't even know I would never say. Like, and I don't even realize I'm saying them until after.
And then
like,
people say, "Oh, you're trying to be black," but no, it's just that you've been around me for 13 years, so you picked up some of the things I say. You picked up some of the things you say.
Like, it is flicker. What it is. You say flicker.
It is what it is. It's like it. I don't get the whole issue with not. Like people expect you to speak how they want you to speak, and I don't understand that. You can speak however you want.
Exactly.
But why are you trying to control a whole nother individual? Like, just think about how you use your words. Think about when you choose to speak, You come up with these sentences yourself in your head, and then you say them how you came up with them and how you wanted them to be presented. So why can't I do the same thing?
You can. People just don't want you to.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's so many,
it's crazy.
So many comments of people who consider themselves like free thinkers and open-minded who are telling me how to talk. Yeah. Not to swear, not to do this, or like, bro, just don't watch the content. You know, it's I choose to speak, and the message isn't any different. My message isn't any different just because I choose to say it a certain way. It's still the same message.
Absolutely,
I can still get my point across in my broken English, fucking Ebonic slang. I can still get the point across. The concept behind the words is what actually matters. Which is why the people who listen to my videos and watch my videos, they tell me the messages that I'm saying are very, very like deep messages.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Complex messages, but I don't talk complex and I don't talk deep. I just talk. I can express myself. I can express myself in the way I speak and still get my point across. And I just had to speak on that because that's something that constantly, like, I'm sick of hearing. You should be more articulate. You should not say this. You don't have to say fucking. You don't have to say shit. Well, you don't have to listen. Just get out of my face. You know?
For real.
I know, because that's what he was talking about. That sometimes there are expectations of black men.
And I mean, there's always roles. Like, there's gender roles, race roles. Like,
if there's expectations for you to speak, like, hey, what up, my nigga, da-da-da-da, then there's expectations for you to speak the other way, too. Because, you know, people always tell you, why do you have to talk like that? Why do you have to, like, no matter what, there's expectations. That's why I don't understand how it's just black men that have these expectations, because all day people are trying to keep up with expectations, like at least expectations that they know of.
That
you know
either they said or somebody sets for them, or
they're constantly thinking about trying to appease somebody. You know, so it maybe not everybody, but you know, there's majority of people walking around doing that. So I don't know.
It goes on, like, if you're Asian, you're supposed to be smart or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope that's the case, because my lawyer is. That's why I hired him. It was either I couldn't afford a Jew.
Yeah, but I'm on a time restraint. But
absolutely.
Can I ask you one last thing? So
yes,
I'm only 17, right? And like,
you are a tall 17-year-old.
Right?
Good for you,
right?
He's a smart 17-year-old.
I'm not really that deep into politics, and like, I hate when people ask me about it because, like, I feel so ignorant. I don't want to speak wrongly. So it's like, how do you really get into politics so you know what you're speaking about? Because, like, what source do you go to?
Yeah. Well, first off, I need to get your info because we'll probably need permission since you're underage to use your footage at all, because I didn't realize for sure.
I the camera blurry.
Being put on YouTube.
Okay, all right. Okay. That'll be good enough. And then if not, just as long as your dad is cool. If we
I'm a conscious being. I know what choice I made. Oh, sorry.
Right, thank you very much. Well, I'm not really. I came into it as a stand-up comedian, right? I came into this as a comedian, and I was at Fox News for years. I will say this, and hopefully there'll be some developments that make this easier for people in the future. Like, you know, if you look at, we always have these sources so that people can reference them. But I tell you what I do. This is just my advice. I could be wrong.
He goes to the other side. He goes and looks at the left.
So assume that you're getting some kind of a spin left or right. And so start off with that. What I do is I set bookmarks. And if I read Fox News, right away I read HuffPo. And then if I read something like Daily Caller, right away I read Slate. And I just make sure that I stack my deck right, left, so that I can see the same story covered from different angles.
Smart.
And then I'll go and look up the original sources and try and find the data that's actually accurate and unbiased. But I think a big mistake people do, and they did this with CNN for a long time, was go, well, MSNBC is left, sorry, my left, you're right, and Fox News is right, so CNN's down the middle. No, CNN is really far left. And I think that most news sources are biased.
So kind of like create a Venn diagram,
yes.
One side, the other side, to find the commonalities.
Yeah, I would say start by setting 3 bookmarks both left and right, and check those. And even like you can set for example, Reddit politics might as well be the Communist Manifesto, and then find if there is a Reddit conservative.
What do you want to know about the past though? Like,
history?
So, people ask me like, I support Trump, and I support him because my dad does, and I believe he does some good for the country. I don't hate on the guy. I don't really hate on anyone. Like I was saying, like I have Christian principles.
Yeah,
actually, you're right. You're right. He does lean. He does lean more conservative.
religion or belief or
By the
something.
way, that's the only way we're going to solve this. Is shared principles and a heart for each other and a
I
heart
mean,
for
I feel
God,
like even
not
if you
race.
don't believe in God, I mean, even the Bible's still a good guideline to live by, you know,
Right,
don't kill, right?
Yeah.
So, I feel like people say a lot of bad things about Trump, and I'm like, you know, I'm at a standstill. I don't know what to say because I don't know what's true or false about the guy from his past in the presidency because I wasn't keeping up with it back then.
Wow.
Yeah. I would still say the same applies, where try and find some, even if it's just books or articles that interest you. So, for example, you could right now probably search New York Times, Donald Trump history.
Do you think it's, like, obviously the past, knowing about past politics is important, but, like, for a 17-year-old kid growing up, do you think that that's, like, a waste of time? And he should just start from, like, where he's at and go for, like, well, obviously, like, know some of the past, but, like, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I mean, obviously, no learning is pointless, but
I think starting from
past
will, like, keep you, like, I think starting in the past will automatically make you interested in the present, and in the future.
That's true.
So I think you should start in the past, so then you can kind of connect and see how we ended up where we're at right now, because most black people didn't know that the Democrat Party was the racist party. You know what I'm saying? Like, so imagine if we had known that.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably wouldn't be Democrats today because it's kind of like you got walked into this trap with Obama. Like, now more people voted than ever.
Yeah.
It turned more people into voters, and more people wanted to vote. Oh, I want to vote for Obama. Da, da, da. And now we're trapped as, like, the new generation is also Democrats, and everyone's just. So imagine if we had known. Democrats were the slavery party,
the original.
Yeah, and they were racist, and then you know
that's true.
They're still racist, but like
that.
they tried to flip into act like they care about black people. Like, imagine if you knew where the history came from, you wouldn't be getting manipulated by these people.
Because, like, they teach you, you can politics in school and shit, but that's not, like, the real history of it. So, yeah, I guess you're right.
And you'll find some stuff.
Yeah.
And then you could search, and you could go read Trump's book himself, because he'll be all too happy to give you his history. Take that with a grain of salt. So I would say the same thing applies, because even with teachers, everyone is often trying to give you their point of view. And listen, that's what this is. I know that I have a point of view. That's why it says change my mind. It doesn't say, oh, I don't know, let's talk. Like, I try to be straightforward about the fact that I do have a point of view. My problem isn't with people who have a different point of view. My problem is with people who claim to be unbiased and lie about it. So all I can say is, whether it's reading history, whether it's reading current events, assume that whoever is compiling or writing it has some kind of biases, just like the Black Lives Matter movement. So they say unconscious biases. Well, how do you fix something if it's not even conscious? But assume that everyone has that and just try and balance it out. And I know it's hard, but you just have to bite off a piece at a time. You know, so maybe
it's going to take time.
It takes time. And you're 17, you have plenty of time.
And also, like, something that would change my mind about the whole Black Lives Matter. Like, at first, like, when I saw it, I was like, don't all lives matter, right? I think, like...
You stepped into that one.
Yeah, right? But,
did you get some people going, no,
I'm black myself, I can say it, right?
That's true.
No, I'm joking.
Right.
But I read more into it. It's not that all lives don't matter. I think the movement was more so, as you see on the media, right, as what people see the masses, black lives being taken by the system. Yeah. And I feel like they're saying all lives matter, but black lives need it more.
Yeah.
I feel like, why not just try to make everybody on the same level first?
That's it.
Well, listen, when you have a movement that's demanding that people kneel solely because of their race, I don't think it's looking for equality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, there was a time in this country where black people had to kneel, unfortunately, and there was slavery.
Side note, real quick, did you know that NFL, the football game, they have a national anthem and a black national anthem? Yeah. I had no idea.
Well, now I do. We were talking about it on the live stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I had no clue. Because they play it on commercials, I think, because you see the national anthem on the football field, on the football games, and then I've never seen the black one.
I never seen it either, but someone was talking about it in the live stream a couple weeks ago.
I had no clue.
A great evil, and as Christians we're called to kneel before no man. They're still in Africa, by the way. The Pygmies have to, was it the Bantu tribes? They have to kneel to other tribes. 6 million people are slaves in Africa, not to mention across Asia. The whole reason that the American flag, we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, is because it's a country that requires us to kneel for no man. And so I think people have said, well, kneeling is so symbolic. I agree. And the moment you ask someone to kneel over their whiteness, it's just as evil as asking someone to kneel over their blackness.
Fact.
And it tells me that it's not about equality. And this is the kind of conversation. This is what I think is productive. And like you said, the only thing that's going to heal us is shared values. And in the United States, those shared values that say you don't kneel to anybody, those are Christian fundamentalist values, as the media would call it. I just think it's Americanism.
Yeah, and it's good moral, good, it's ethical.
Well, Zach, what's your name?
Yes.
Zach, hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Oh, that was nice, but what are your thoughts on America?
Yo.
That was sweet.
That was. There wasn't. We still had a conversation.
Yeah, it got us
so
talking.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know how we do.
I was expecting them to be at odds.
Maybe the next time they'll be at odds.
Yeah, this is part 2 because she has a dentist appointment, so we wanted to keep it kind of short, even though it's still 40 minutes. But we're gonna go back obviously and do the first half. The first half is one dude for 45 minutes. He sits there and talks to Steven Crowder for 45 minutes. So, we'll probably break that into 2 too, because you already know what I do. You know how we do. Yeah. We take a long time. So, let us know what you think in the comments, man. Obviously, I don't think America is racist. And I used to at a point when I was super liberal. I did believe that, but over years, I've smartened up, opened my mind, looked at it, and actually looked at the situation of all the things I used to call racist, and
are they really?
It's illogical.
Yeah, exactly.
It's illogical to think that every white person walking around is just racist. Everyone's just racist. It's just, it's just illogical to think because we all grew up together. Majority of people ain't thinking like that. It doesn't even make any sense.
Seriously, and like we were raised in school and shit. The American flag was like freedom. This shit is like great. And now it's like people are like, run when you see it. That's a racist in the car.
People feel uncomfortable when they see an American flag now. Disgusting.
I'll wrap it.
Yeah, my American flag is always gonna be flying, bro. Always. I don't play that shit. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever we drop.
Flawd's booty.
And remember to always stay flawed. Don't you dare try to play flawed. And if you see me in the streets, then you better say, "Hey, Flawd." Make it easier for me to go to sleep at night. I had a dream that I could do my thing, and everywhere I went, the people knew my name. Some people hated on the truth I bring, but now I use the hating just to fuel my plane. I had a dream that I could do my thing, and everywhere I went, the people knew my name. Some people hated on the truth I bring, but now I use the hating just to fuel my plane.